Hi, Karen with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a scrapbook layout for Cut to You design team, and I'm super excited this month. Some of us design team members are working in a bit of a theme for called magical moments. And this is where we've been asked to do some scrapping around maybe some amusement parks we've been to, or some fairylands that we might have been to, or any type of ride, excitement, or magical moment that you might have got from that experience. And again, a magical moment could be about anything really. So, a few of us have taken a couple of different slants on this theme, and I hope that you have an opportunity to watch along as throughout the month as we share our layouts. I've gone for the direct, pretty easy, I guess, when it comes to a cut file name. It matches the theme called Magical Moments, and that is that beautiful title with all those scattered stars all around. I've decided to use some photos from way back, and if this was a trip to the Gold Coast that we took, and these are some photos of Jacob and I at SeaWorld on the Gold Coast. Now, I've decided I'm going to also be a little bit tropical with my theme today, and I'm using the Simple Stories Vintage Coastal collection, and it has got some wonderful colours, so that beautiful blues and aquas, and some of that wood grain as well. I don't have all the pattern papers for this, but I do have several bits of the ephemera. So it was lots of fun pulling this one together. And I'll explain some of the papers in just a moment that I used in my cut file. I'll just talk to you a little bit about what I'm doing with my mixed media here. I've gone relatively simple for this one because that cut file is quite busy and I really wanted the cut file to be the main star, but I certainly wanted a little bit of background to go along with that. So I'm using the packaging technique. And if you're not familiar with that, or you're not really keen on doing some mixed media, the packaging technique is probably one of the most easiest ones out there to do. So I just keep all my ephemera packs in a little jar, and I just spray down some of my ink from my spray bottles here. I am using shimmers for these ones today, and the colors that I've used are Jenny Bee Blue, which is a beautiful blue, and You'll See as well, which is a little bit more of an aqua tone. So it gave it a little bit more of a water seaside effect there. So for the packaging technique, you just pop on some spray onto that, tip it over your packaging and just smush it around the page. And if you don't like it, I have pre-gessoed this as well. It allows you to be able to get some lift from that watercolor. You can actually sort of wipe it up if you've gone too far. But for this one, I just dried it off with a little bit of a roll of a paper towel. And then I also added some gold splatters as well. If you watch me regularly, pretty much splatters go on nearly every layout. I love a good splatter. And the splatter that I used today for the gold was in Kaiser Mist in their gold. That's a really good favourite one for me. Another one is also Shimmer's Minor 49er, but I've hardly got any of that left right now. And Shimmers are not posting to Australia at the moment due to COVID. So I'm trying to keep my Shimmers use to a minimum. So as I wait to be able to do an order. All right, so you'll see that I have backed my cut file before I started recording because it took me quite a while to do that one. Now, the reasons for my colour tones here today. So to go back onto that magical moments, I decided to use the wood grain pattern paper from the collection. And one of the main reasons for that was to match in with this, beside the walrus there that Jacob's sitting with, is a beautiful palm tree. But I'm also, and Jacob and I in the photo up the top, are on a ship. So, and I thought that would really lean back really well to that sort of ship coastal type tones. So I really love how that turned out. And then it was just a case of just adding onto those stars all the the beautiful coral and the greens and the aquas. I really, really love the colours in this collection. I really do wish I'd bought more of the patterned paper. I only have a few pieces, and it was really lovely to work with as well. I don't have a lot of simple stories, but it is starting to grow on me. So to pull most of the layout together, it was just a case of where am I going to sit these photos? So because the cut file, I've cut it out quite large, and it is really the predominant part on the page, but it also gives me a few landing spots for the photos, which is why I went for having 2 photos on the page. I felt that it could nestle in quite well, and I just have them sitting over the top of each other just slightly so they're anchored together. You'll see there where I'm just popping that one up on the left, there was a gap where those stars were. So it just gave that lovely moment of being able to nestle that in within that section there. And then I just got to town really with some clusters around the page. Now I have moved these clusters from the left-hand side down the bottom there and over to the right and then up to the left. So that, generally speaking, is the way I do my clusters. I like to have a flow around the page depending on what I'm actually wanting to try to achieve for the page. But I wanted to put a little bit of anchoring there as well on that bottom left-hand side. So I've made that cluster. Although it does cover up the words, you can still see in the final product what that title is. I just felt I had first started off that I wasn't going to put any sort of cluster or flowers or anything like that on the top of the words, but it just didn't look right for me, which is why I added that one on that left-hand side. And it's really beachy and coastly as well, and ties into the wheel on that ship. It's got that arc there. The anchor piece as well that I'm popping on there just to move it back to sort of tone in with the ship that we were standing on at SeaWorld. And oh my goodness, aren't these florals just beautiful? Oh, they're so lovely. And I loved all the green tones on the leaves, and also I popped some palm trees over the right side as well, just to tie along with that palm tree sitting by the walrus there. And that's pretty much the remainder of my layout. It did turn into a little bit busier, I guess, when I'm looking at this now, but I do really love how this turned out. I love the water effect of the underneath the cut file, and just everything about the collection around the florals. And I added, oh yes, you'll see there I've added in some flamingos to the page as well on both sides of that section. To finish off, I did do a few more splatters with some gold spray as well, just to pop a few things up and then have that background cohesively matching in with the embellishments. As I said earlier, we are all, us in the design team this month, celebrating and using the theme Magic Moments. So I hope you'll join us throughout the month and see what everyone else has been up to. There are some fabulous layouts coming your way this month, and I'm super excited to be able to see how everyone pulled theirs together as well. So here's the finished product. I should mention I will have all the details of the cut file and the links to the Cut to You Facebook group as well, and I have some close-ups to share. If you've got any questions at all, I would love it if you popped into the comments, and I would really appreciate it if you'd liked and subscribed if you're new to my channels today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.